Should we sit toward the back? Let's sit toward the back.
All right.
Oh, what am I doing? They know I'm coming. Let's sit up front.
All right, then.
If I'm close enough to see their eyes, their faces, I'll know if there's tricks.
Sure.
Do you think those two chairs in front are for us?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, they wouldn't want me right up front.
Well, then, should we grab those two?
No. Yes. Oh, I don't know.
What is wrong with you?
Nothing. Nothing. I don't usually cover things like this.
Yeah, and you usually don't invite me along to things like this.
No.
You a little freaked by this?
Freaked? Oh, yeah. I just thought I'd blend in a little easier if someone came along.
So how does this guy do this? Does he have visions? Look at your palm?
He's not a fortune teller. He speaks to the dead. Or, more exactly, he hears the dead. You're dead. People close to you who've died, and he tells you what they want to tell you. Gets you in touch with them. Or so they say.
They who?
They are his books. A new one at number 3 on the New York Times bestseller list. His tapes, audio, video, 1-900 telephone counseling line, and personal appearances like these.
Sounds like there's good money in the dead.
It's a growth industry. Oh, look at these people. God, this stuff makes me sick.
Makes you sick. What stuff?
Gullible people who believe a guy like this. They pay money to see him. They buy his books just so he might tell them something about their dearly departed, and they go away happy and half dead themselves. It's the quick fix, an easy way out. They don't have the courage or stamina to deal with their own grief or their own guilt, and they want someone to take it all away with just a couple of prefab words.
Hey, I'm having a vision. I'm starting to see exactly what your story's going to be like.
Shh. Here's someone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doug will be here in just a few moments.
Doug?
Shh.
Doug?
Now, Doug knows that right now as I speak, that many of you are in pain, that many of you are still grieving, that many of you have questions about what he's going to talk about and what that means for you, for all of us. And he wants you right now to put yourself into a peaceful place. Be at peace. Begin to listen. And begin to open yourself to what you'll be learning tonight. Thank you.
Excuse me, are you Amanda? We talked yesterday?
You're from the newspaper?
Yes, Jessica Cornuth. And my friend Edward Sackett. You said I could bring a friend.
Yes, of course. You'll be sitting right here in front.
Thank you. I was hoping I'd be able to spend some time with Mr. Graham after the session tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's impossible. Doug leaves for Mexico tonight. He's on an extremely tight schedule.
Mexico? Well, but I was hoping to get a little more background for my story.
Didn't you get the books we sent over to the newspaper?
Yes, but you see, I wasn't supposed to handle this story. Someone else was assigned, and...
Well, I'm sure now that you're here...
Well, could you just answer a few questions? You've worked with him for some time, haven't you?
Yes, but
well, just till you begin. It will give everyone a much better picture of Mr. Graham.
Doug. We call him Doug. Everyone is on a first-name basis, even those who have passed on.
Ah. Then, Doug it is. How long has Doug been doing this?
Some time now. But it's only been a few years that he's been doing this for people. In public, I mean. And then the first book came out, over a year ago, and the new book was just published.
So he's always been, what does he call it, psychic?
He doesn't call it anything, and yes, I think he's always had this ability. There's a story in his first book about a dog he had when he was just a little boy, Buddy, his dog. The family had Buddy for many years, and one day when Doug left for school, he knew Buddy wasn't going to be there when he got home.
The dog died?
Yes.
But did he get hit by a car? Or...
Nope, it was natural causes.
But if you had the dog for years, you had to figure it was going to go sometime. I mean, at a certain point, any time you'd have that thought about old Buddy, you'd have a 50-50 chance.
The point is, he knew. And he knew how he knew. And there were many other times when he knew things. But it was only when his own mother died that he learned he could apply this power to communicating with those who have passed.
Passed to where? Where are those that he communicates with?
Oh, they're here. They're with us. right now.
And, how does he communicate with them?
He just listens. He just opens himself and he listens. He says they speak loud and clear as a bell.
He just listens.
And he says we all could hear if we would just listen.
And how did you come to work with with Doug?
4 years ago, I lost my son. He was 7 years old. He was riding his bike after school, and I could not cope. And then one day I saw this ad in a newspaper. It said this man could talk with the dead. I had to take a chance. I had to take a chance to hear from Billy once more.
And so, obviously...
Oh, excuse me. There are special guests. I must see to them.
Special guests?
Before Doug makes an appearance, we review letters from people in the area, people who want to talk with Doug, and to have Doug talk with someone from their life who's passed on. Doug personally chooses them.
So Doug pre-selects those that
He doesn't pre-select. He just feels...
So he knows ahead of time.
Jessica, please. There are people here tonight who need the kind of help Doug can give them. Please, be considerate.
Of course. Are most of Doug's followers women?
Yes, they tend to be more open to his message. Excuse me.
So men can't hear what the dead say?
Men usually don't even hear what the living say. Let's sit down.
This is going to be painful.
No, this is going to be good. And that must be the man himself.
He does have a way about him.
That's called money. Oh, they're coming our way.
And Doug, this is Jessica.
From the paper? Oh, boy, thank you. Thank you so much for giving us a little of that old PR.
Well, I was assigned. I was hoping that we'd be able to spend some more time.
We really should start the program now.
Jessica, you'll get everything you're looking for.
Oh, and this is...
Edward Sackett. I mean, just Edward. Hello.
Hello, just Edward.
Excuse us. It's time to begin.
And away we go.
No, folks, thank you oh so much. You don't die. You don't die. No siree. You won't die, you won't die, you won't die. How do you feel now? Like the bird that just caught the worm, don't you? Like you're sailing with the wind at your back, like you're sitting on top of the world. You don't die. Feels good, doesn't it? Do you know what that feeling is? That's hope. And where there's hope, there's life. Holy moly, that's life there. Because I will tell you, my friends, you cannot live, you cannot know life until you get rid of the idea of death. Get rid of it, forget it, throw it away, there it goes. It's gone. Because there is no such thing. You don't die. You don't die. And when you know that, you can live like you've never lived before. And I know, because I hear from those who have passed on to a better place. And for those of you whose family, whose friends have passed, don't be sad. They're with you. They're with you as much as they've ever been. Because you don't die. No way, Jose. Now, I would love to reach out to every one of you here tonight, to help each of you with words of love and comfort from someone in your life that has passed. Gee willikers, if I could do that for just everybody in the world. But of course I can't. Time doesn't allow. Tick-tock, tick-tock. But I have answered the request of a couple of special friends whose letters touch my heart. They are here, and tonight, together, we will be in touch with loved ones that they haven't heard from in some time. But for them and for all of you, this will be just a demonstration of the bigger truth, the reason I'm here, and that is, you don't die. Thank you for coming tonight, everybody. Pa-cha-cha, I feel good.
Now, friends, I want to let you know now that when we're finished this evening, copies of Doug's books and tapes will be on sale at the back of the room. We know you'll want to take some home for yourself and also for friends and family. We take credit cards and cash, but not American Express. And no personal checks, please.
My credit cards have all passed on, but maybe Doug can get in touch with them.
Shut up.
Doug?
Thank you, Amanda. Now, who are we meeting tonight, Amanda?
Doug, this is Betty.
Betty, hello.
Hello.
Everyone say hello to Betty. Wow, you look nice tonight. Sit down. Right here. That's fine. So how are we tonight? A little nervous? Don't be. These are your friends out here. Now, Betty, you lost someone, and you want me to contact them, don't you? All right. Betty, I'm just going to be quiet for a while. I'm going to listen, okay?
Okay.
There's a man you love very much. You didn't know how much you loved him till he was gone.
Yes.
Your husband.
Yes, George.
George, yes. He left you quickly, very fast. No chance to say goodbye.
Yes. Well, he had a heart attack. He died right where he fell on the street. And we never got to say goodbye.
Well, Betty, you could say goodbye, but why don't you say hello?
What?
He's right here. George, he's right next to you.
What?
George says hello, Betty. No, he called you Elizabeth sometimes?
Yes.
He says hello, Elizabeth.
Oh, that's him. That's George. Well, usually he'd call me Elizabeth when we were...
When? When did he call you Elizabeth?
Oh, when we were angry with each other or, well, he'd done something wrong and he had to say he was sorry.
Did George do something wrong?
Oh, no.
Did you and George have an argument sometime before his heart attack?
No.
He was angry with you about something before?
No, but...
But what, Betty?
Oh, well, I was angry at him after he died. Because he'd left like that, so sudden, without any word, without
He didn't mean to leave like that. So sudden? He didn't want to, Elizabeth.
Did it hurt him? Did it hurt much? I didn't want him to...
No, it was very fast, no pain. He says he was confused, and then, as he realized what was happening, he was a little sad.
Sad.
Because he had to leave you and everyone else behind. Do you have children, grandchildren?
Oh, yes. We have a daughter, Ronnie, and she has one boy, Jeffrey.
George was sad because he knew he was leaving them, too.
Oh, he doted on Jeffrey. He loved that boy.
I sense water. Did he teach Jeffrey how to swim, or did he take him on a boat, maybe fishing?
Oh, yes. Oh, George took Jeffrey fishing. He had a favorite place he liked to go, a stream out in the country, and, well, he loved their time alone there.
He was a good grandfather.
Oh, yes, he was.
So, George is hoping you're not angry at him anymore, Elizabeth.
Oh, no, I was never really angry.
He wants you to be happy. He wants you to laugh again. You haven't laughed in a while, have you?
No.
You used to laugh, you and George, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Oh, he could make me laugh. He could be so silly.
Silly? Tell me.
Oh, well, we'd laugh about anything. He'd tease me or make a face while we were talking just to see me laugh. And he could imitate anybody, like my cousin Verna has this funny voice.
Betty! Hi, Betty! What you been up to, Betty?
Right. That's how she talked, how she pronounced my name.
Is that right, Betty?
Oh, Betty. Oh, George.
You haven't thought about those times, the times he made you laugh?
No.
George wants you to know he's been with you, Betty. He's been close.
He has.
Yes.
Do you know, sometimes at night, just before I fall asleep, or other times when, well, maybe I'm sitting, eating, drinking a cup of coffee or something, and I used to just look up and George would be there. And I'll be sitting there now drinking that coffee, and I'll look up expecting to see him there.
He's there, Betty. He's there. So, how do you feel now, Betty, about George? Are you still angry at all?
Oh, no.
Well, what is it, Betty? There's something.
No, I don't know.
Is there something else, Betty? Something you want to know from George?
What? No.
Betty, now's the time to talk this over with George. He's here now.
Well, there's a man at my church. His wife died last year.
George knew this man?
Yes,
At church?
Well, yes, not well, but...
And you feel bad about this? Like you might be betraying George? I'm sorry, Betty. I just had to laugh. George just made me laugh. Everything is okay, Betty. It's okay. It's okay to see this man. George is okay with this. He's A-okay.
He is.
Of course he is, Betty. What would you expect from George? He wants you to be happy. He doesn't want you to be alone. And you'll never, ever be alone, Betty. George will be with you always.
He will.
Do you feel it, Betty? Do Do you feel, George? He's with you right now, and he loves you just as much as he ever did.
Oh, and I love him.
He knows that, Betty. He knows. Now, Betty, our talk with George is going to come to an end. But just because I won't be with you in the future to talk with him, that doesn't mean he isn't there. Do you understand that, Betty?
Yes.
You felt George here, didn't you, Betty? You could feel him again, couldn't you?
Oh, yes.
Then never let him go, Betty. Just never let him go. Come here, Betty. Give me a hug.
Betty, if you'll step back here now. That's right. Thank you.
You don't die. George didn't die. He just passed on to another type of life. He's still with Betty. And all of those that any of you out there have lost are still with you. They're still with you, watching you, caring for you, and loving you just the way they always did. And ain't that as sweet as your mama's cherry pie?
Ladies and gentlemen, experiences just like what you've just witnessed as Doug helps people get in touch with those who passed on. All of these are captured on the books and tapes that will be available immediately after Doug's appearance. You'll be inspired by these real moments of awakening to the realization that you don't die. Make sure and see me after the show, and you can learn more about Doug's work through his books and tapes. And here's an idea. If you have a friend who's just had someone pass on, these make wonderful, thoughtful gift ideas. Thank you.
And thanks for those words from our sponsor.
I don't believe this.
You got to admit, though, he's got a good thing going. Look how vulnerable Betty was. Just looking for something, anything, from George.
I know. He's taking advantage of people when they're the weakest. He's like a sleazy undertaker without the overhead.
But you know, there were a few moments there when I thought, the way Betty reacted, that maybe he was...
Edward, that is not funny. That poor
We'll
woman.
be right with you, everyone. One moment, please.
I'm not trying to be funny.
He screened these people ahead of time. They'd sent him letters. He had time to research them.
I guess.
Hi, Linda. I'm Doug.
I know.
What's wrong?
When I wrote you, I was hoping to see you in private.
Linda, I can't see anyone in private. There are too many people. But I can talk to you right now. Your letter touched me. I could feel right away that you were hurting right down to your shoelaces. I felt I could help you.
I'm just not sure I want to do this.
Linda, see these people out here? See them? Go ahead, look. You want to know a secret about them? They're just like you. Most of them out here have lost someone close to them, too. And they're here because they're wondering why, too. Why did I have to lose someone I love so much? So nothing you say up here, Linda, is going to be anything they haven't wondered about before. Isn't that right, folks? Haven't you been there before, and aren't your hearts full of care and sympathy for Linda here? Aren't you behind Linda 100%? Aren't you? See there, Linda? Now come right on up here and let's talk. Come on up.
Oh, God.
What?
That was staged.
You think so?
Edward, if you're going to act this stupid, I'm going to take off and leave you here.
Are you comfortable, Linda? Mm-hmm. Good, good. Because it's going to be a memorable night tonight, isn't it, baby girl?
What? What?
He's here.
No.
He's here, Linda. He's been away from you for a long time. Your grandfather? Baby girl. Baby girl. It's your father, but he's been gone so long.
He died when I was just 11.
He didn't die, Linda. He's here. For his baby girl. Is that what...
I was always his baby girl, even when I was 11.
He's here, but I'm not getting...
What is he saying? What?
Well, sometimes, Linda, there's a space, a gap. See, not only have you been apart for a long time, but you were so young. But we'll get there, Linda. He's here, and that's the important thing. Help me, Linda. This isn't your dad talking. This is me, good old Doug. What was your father like? Was he a quiet man?
Yes, he didn't say much.
Yes, It was sunny. It was warm. You're playing in the sunshine.
We lived in Florida then.
The Sunshine State. Yes, oranges.
Orange trees.
Orange trees.
We had orange trees all around us.
I can smell the orange trees, Linda. It's strong. You're in the sunshine. The oranges are all around you. They're all around your father. Your father didn't pass there, though, Linda. It was somewhere else. He was in a hospital, but it wasn't near you.
He had moved away. We heard later that he died.
But something's that isn't lining up here. You weren't upset when you heard about his passing, were you?
I was just a little girl.
But you weren't sad. You weren't upset when he left either, were you? Linda, your father's sad. He's sad now. There should be more happiness here, darn it. I think he's sorry. Is that it? He's sorry. He's sorry for leaving you.
Yeah, sure.
He's sorry, and he wants to try to explain. He left because he loved you, Linda, and there's more. He was confused. He was wrong. There, that's important, Linda. Did you get that? He was wrong. He knows that.
He was wrong?
Yes, he was wrong, and he's so sorry. He knows that it hurt you. He knows that it still hurts you.
He does. He knows that.
Yes, he does.
So, is that it? He was wrong. He knows that he's sorry. Is that it?
Linda, you might still be angry still after all these years, but this is time for healing, for letting go of all the pain.
Letting go?
That's right. The important thing is that your dad is here now, Linda. You're together again, and even though you remember the pain of him leaving you, he's back, and he's here with you.
The pain leaving me. You don't know about the pain. You don't know anything about it. Leaving me? You think that's what he's sorry about?
Linda.
Why is he so quiet? Why can't you hear him? Why won't he tell me why? Why he did it?
Linda, sometimes things happen between couples, you know, between your mom and dad and little kids. Oh, golly, you know this, Linda. You must know this. Why, Linda. There's more. Oh, my. There's more, isn't there, Linda? Orange trees. You're in the orange grove with your father. You'd go there.
We'd go there.
You'd go there.
We'd go there after school sometimes. And on weekends when my mother was working.
Yes, I see that now.
You see that? What else do you see?
Linda, we can stop this
What
now.
else? He's here now, right? Well, let him tell you. Let him tell you what he did to me.
I know, Linda. Goodness, I know.
Why? Ask him why. Why did he do that to me? I was just a little girl. So little when he started it. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand. He was my daddy. I was his baby girl. We'd go out there. He'd take me out there to play. When it started, I was so little. I was 7 or something. I didn't know what was going on. He didn't do it much at first, but then when he and Mama started fighting more, well, it happened more and more. I was so confused. At first, I thought it was because he loved me. Then I thought it was because he hated me. I wanted to tell my Mama, but I didn't even know the words to use. When he finally left, when Mama finally threw him out, it was like I wasn't some kind of slave anymore. So when he died, when we heard he died, it was just like nothing to me. I wasn't sad. I was just nothing.
Linda.
But it didn't end there. Not for me. I've lived with that forever. Do you know what that does to you? Do you know what it did to me? Does he know? Do you know?
Linda.
All my life, everyone Do you know, I've been married 3 times, just like my Mama, because of him. Because I could never talk about it, and if I did, it just made me crazier. Well, he's here now, and I want to know why.
Why?
Why?
Why? Well, he doesn't know, baby girl. He didn't know why he did it. He knew it was wrong. It was a sickness, some kind of sickness. He wanted to stop, but he couldn't, and that's why he left. He didn't want to leave you like that, but he knew he had to, and he's sorry. He knows that's all he can do or say, but he wants you to know he's so sorry.
He's sorry?
Yes, Linda.
And I know he means it. I know it's real. I can feel the love. It's always been there. You know that. That's why you needed to be in touch with him again. You needed to hear he was sorry. But you know something, Linda? He needed to say it, too. He needed to tell you. Sometimes when I help someone get in touch with one who's passed, sometimes it does just as much good for the one on the other side as it does for the one who's still with us. And that's the reality of it, folks. That's the wonder of it. You don't die. You don't die. When you pass on, you're still with us, and you're still the same. With all the feelings for your loved ones you've always had, but with all the concerns, too, and all the hopes and wishes you had for unresolved questions and problems. But the thing of it is, when you've passed on to the other side, you have a view. You have a view from all eternity, and you know that everything is going to be all right. And everything's going to be all right now, isn't it, Linda? Your daddy is here. He knows what he did, and he's so sorry for it. So it's going to be all right now, because it's over. Isn't it, Linda? It's all over. Isn't it, Linda?
Yes.
It's over?
Yes.
It's over. All your pain, all your confusion is just washed away. And remember, if any of that ever comes back, if you ever find yourself going back to those bad times, forget it. Forget the past and look toward the future, because the future goes on forever. Because you don't die. But someday, you'll be reunited with your daddy. And you'll know the pain he's had, and you'll know the love he has for you. And so now you can go on with the rest of your life, knowing everything's going to be all right. All right, Linda?
Yes. Thank you.
This is unconscionable. It's criminal. It's like practicing therapy without a license.
He seemed to hit on some things, though. The orange trees, and that they were separated for a long time, that her father died a long time ago.
That's too easy to find out ahead of time. They knew he was going to talk to her. They could have found all that out. But Linda took it all seriously. She was willing to lay everything out on the line, right in front of everybody.
She obviously needed to deal with it, even if it was in front of everybody. Seemed like it helped her.
She was molested, Edward, when she was just a child. And she's been carrying around that secret with her ever since. Now that is serious. That is nothing to be played with, to be displayed to an audience. It's not some magic show where she lost her watch and he's going to tell her where it is.
It's harmless.
And it's not harmless. Who knows how Linda, if her name is Linda, if she's for real, for God's sake, is going to deal with this, and how it'll affect her from here on in. She may still be scarred and disturbed and not even know it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Doug will be speaking again in just a few moments. Sometimes these sessions just take so much out of him. He cares so deeply. Now, I want to remind you just once more that right after Doug speaks, at the back of the room, there'll be a table with all of Doug's books and tapes on sale. Tonight has just been a glimpse of all you can learn.
That's it. Let's go. We're out of here.
Of all you can learn, all you can experience, all you can... Thank you, folks. We'll be just 1 second. Excuse me. Oh, pardon me, folks. Excuse me. Miss, the evening isn't concluded yet.
We've seen enough, thank you.
Yes, but as I just said, these personal encounters are just a glimpse of what Doug can do for so many people. He really doesn't encourage these, but so many people want them, and he just tries to reach out, and...
He just tries to find people like these in so much pain and so confused that they'll listen to anybody.
But if you just listen...
You listen. I know what Doug can do. He can take people's souls and lay them out and expose them for everyone to see, and then he'll make them pay him for the privilege. Buy his books and tapes and perpetuate this nonsense.
I think you're missing the essence.
I understand the essence of this. You're just afraid that I'll go back and write what's really happening here. And if there's enough reporters like me who are crazy enough to give 2 seconds to something like this, and then who let people know what a sham this is, that pretty soon Doug and you will be out of business.
That's not why I want you to stay.
Amanda, can I be of some assistance?
No, thank you. We're leaving now.
Is something wrong?
I'm sure you don't want to discuss anything wrong in front of all these people. And anyway, you're far too busy to talk. You can read about it in tomorrow's paper.
Let's just talk now, by golly. I have all the time in the world. And so do you. Because I know that you and I are going to be here forever.
All right. Let's talk.
Come right on up here. Folks, we're going to do something a little unusual tonight. We have a reporter here watching us, and I'm not so sure she's liked what she's seen. No siree. I'm right, aren't I, Jessica? So we just want to give her a little time to maybe ask a few questions. That's what you do, right?
That's what I do.
Well, come right up here and sit yourself down. All comfy? Good. So, shoot.
Doug, just where are the dead? Where are those that have passed, that you talk to? I mean, is it heaven, hell?
I don't think so, Jessica. I don't really know. I just know that when I talk to them, usually through someone like Linda or Betty, they're here. They're right smack dab here.
Do you hear them? Do they talk to you? Do you hear words?
I don't hear them like I'm hearing you now. Their words, their feelings just appear in my head.
Do you always pre-select the people you're going to talk to or through, like Linda and Betty?
Not always.
It makes it convenient to do so, though, doesn't it? Gives you the opportunity to find out something about them ahead of time.
We don't do that.
You're saying that you didn't have Betty and Linda checked out? It would have been very easy to find out that Betty's husband died suddenly, and she'd probably want to talk about him. And Linda and the orange trees? It would have been no problem to learn that she grew up in Florida, and that if you checked into her background, it's very possible her father could have had other problems with other children.
No, I don't think so, no.
That's all right, Linda.
And what right do you have to play with her past and her mind like that? That woman has been trying to deal with the problem that has been ripping her apart since she was just a child. Are you a trained psychotherapist? Do you have a license to practice in this state? Or any state? Do you know what you're dealing with here?
Why are you so angry, Jessica?
What?
What's troubling you?
You are troubling me. What you do to these people, what you try to foist off on the public with your books and your tapes.
These people want my help. There are so many people who want my help that I don't have the time.
There are a lot of troubled people in the world, and a lot of people who have lost friends and relatives. It's difficult for anybody to cope with that kind of loss, but that doesn't give you the right.
Have you lost someone, Jessica?
What?
Have you lost someone? Someone recently, or someone, maybe it's not so recent, but it's someone you still think about?
That is not relevant.
Well, it's very relevant to what I do, to what we're talking about, or am I just whistling Dixie here?
Yes, but I am not here for me. I'm here
just to watch, to make judgments about other people who are having difficulty coping with losses?
No. To write a fair and objective article on this phenomenon, and to make sure that my readers...
Phenomenon? You make it sound like a fad, like hula hoops or putting egg in your beer. Gosh, Jessica, I think death has, unfortunately, always been a part of this world, don't you?
Yes. Well, maybe I can talk to Linda or to Betty a little later. Or better, maybe I can talk to some of your other people, not Amanda, where I could explore some of the effects that this kind of thing has had. Long term.
Well, long term is what we're all about here.
You are just full of cute little remarks, aren't you? I'm serious about doing an in-depth report on you and what you do, and I think you might want to take me a little more seriously yourself.
Oh, I do, Jessica. I take everything and everyone seriously. This is dead serious.
Dead serious. Very nice. I just don't know if we can have a real conversation,
Stop
Doug.
it! Stop it! Stop it, won't you? Don't you care? Don't you care about anybody else? Don't you realize that there are people here? These people lost someone. People they loved died, and that's why we're here.
Young lady.
And that's why this man does what he does. For them. For all of us.
Doug.
Yes, that's all right. That's okay.
What right does she have to...
That's okay. What's your name, darling?
Why don't...
That's all right. Just sit down here. Just sit down there. Just hold on. Breathe. Yeah, you can go ahead and breathe. That's it. That's all right. There. Now, what's your name, honey?
Whitney.
Whitney, what a nice name. Now, Whitney, I appreciate you taking up for me like you did, but there's no need for that. There's no need to blame Jessica. She's just doing her...
She doesn't understand.
Understand what, honey?
What it's like to have someone pass.
Sure she does. She's just doing a job. Everyone's had someone... Did you lose someone, Whitney?
Yes. That's why I had to see you.
It was a friend, a school friend. It was music and parties and books. You were at school with this friend, a good friend. You laughed. Pizza, ice cream, lots of fun, huh?
Yes, it was.
Oh, no. Oh, no, I see, I understand. There was a gun. Your friend, her name?
Allison.
Allison killed herself.
Yes.
Oh, honey, that was hard. That was hard what you went through, what you're still going through.
Can you talk to her? Can you find her?
I've been talking to her, honey. She's here now.
She's here?
Sure.
Allison? Can you hear her?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, boy, she wants to talk. Still cool, Whitney?
What?
Still cool? Are you staying cool, Whitney? You gotta stay cool.
Yeah, you do. No, Allison, I haven't been too cool lately. I miss you.
Allison left you. She left you alone. You were best friends, weren't you?
Best of the best.
Best of the best.
Best friends ever. Forever.
Forever.
My only friend.
Your only friend?
When she left me without anybody.
She was your only friend.
Yeah. When I came to school here last year, I didn't know a soul. But it didn't matter. I never made friends too easy. I was always kind of different. Kind of an odd duck type. Just saw things a little different than most kids.
Sure.
And I just couldn't hit it off with anybody. It's been that way for what seems like always. Then one day, I was out in the Union by myself as usual, reading something. And Allison just plopped down right next to me, right on the floor. She said, "Hey, lady, what are you doing inside on such a fabulous day? We must go take to the sun, and I mean now."
She came up and talked to you.
Yeah, and we took a walk, and we talked, and she said, "Let's get together sometime this weekend. Go grab a fajita." And we did. And we became friends.
That's nice.
But the thing is, see, she wasn't weird or anything. I mean, she wasn't an oddball like me. She had other friends, and she belonged to a couple of clubs or something. She had boyfriends, you know, but she'd invite me along with them when they went to movies and stuff. And she played softball, for God's sake, for the school.
She was a regular good old girl, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, she was a good old girl. We would do email all the time to each other. We called it the Good Old Girls Network. You knew that. She told you that.
Yeah.
What else did she tell you? Did she tell you anything about how depressed I used to get? How suicidal? Especially before we became friends. And how she would always tell me, "Don't you dare mention suicide, Miss Whitney Simmons, or I'll kill you myself." How she was always the strong one, the one I looked up to, the one that made me stronger.
Sure, she was your friend.
Then why did she do it? Why would she kill herself? She was the strong one, not me.
She was strong for you, Whitney, but she was doing that for you.
But if she was hurting so bad, why didn't she tell me?
Maybe she couldn't.
Why not? Didn't she trust me? I told her everything. And she didn't give me any idea. I mean, if I had the slightest idea, I would have done anything I could have for her.
Yes.
I would have stopped her.
No, you did everything you could. You know, Whitney, you helped Allison all along. You were the strong one for her, all along.
What?
You may have been alone when Allison came along, but even though Allison didn't seem alone to you, inside it was like she was floating in the Milky Way. Space as far as the eye can see, and no one around her that could understand her or talk to her the way you did.
What?
You were strong enough to talk, Whitney, to open up to a friend, to let her know what you felt and to listen to what she felt. Allison didn't feel comfortable talking like that with anybody else. You were her best friend, too. Best friend ever.
Forever.
You were the strong one, Whitney, and Allison wants to thank you for it.
Thank me?
When she came up to you at the Union, she was at the real and true end of her rope. The very black bottom of the tip of the end. She saw something in you she couldn't get from anybody else. Real and true friendship. And you helped her get along for a while longer. You helped her make some sense of it for a while. You gave her a little more time, and you gave her a real friend.
She says that?
Oh, yes. And she says that you're still going to be friends. Best friends.
Best friends. Ever.
Forever. Forever, Whitney. This is the new Good Old Girls Network. You tune in to Allison. You tune in right now and forever, Whitney. Because Allison's going to be with you forever. And when you're feeling blue or alone, you think of your best friend and think about how you helped each other along.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Positively, absitively.
That sounds like her.
It is her, Whitney. And here's another thing, Whitney, and this is me, Doug. Now that you know what really happened with you and Allison, you should know this one thing. And that's that you're not an odd duck, Whitney, not the way you meant it. No, you're one of those odd ducks that's a real friend, and there's not many ducks like that at all. Not at all, no ma'am. Not many ducks like that at all. Quack, quack. And one other thing, you remember this. Forever. You made a friend, a real friend in Allison, and that means sure as the nose on my face that there's another friend out there. Another friend just waiting to be made, and then another. A whole mess of them. Because one thing you learned from all this, one thing Allison gave you, was knowing that you can make a real good friend. And Allison hopes that you hang on to that you remember that about yourself, now and later. And you know what, Whitney girl?
What?
That's a real cool thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
So how you doing, Whitney?
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Pretty okay?
Yeah. Pretty okay.
Okay. Whitney, that took a lot of guts, you coming up and going through that. You come here and give me a good hug. That's it. That's it. Amanda?
I'll be right back, and Doug will be right back with us.
Wow.
Wow, what?
Well, wow, you saw that. What did you think?
I think Whitney was the most obvious setup of all.
Setup?
Sure, a plant in the audience. Best safety net he had. The minute I really started in on him, up she popped. Good diversionary tactic, huh?
I don't know, Jessica. She seemed like she was really going through that. I mean, maybe I'm not trained to be as perceptive as you with people, but I thought she was real, even if he's not.
She's part of the show. That's all this really is, one big show. They should have sent the theater critic here. Well, I'm going to go hand this assignment over to him. Let's go.
Jessica, we didn't finish our talk.
That's all right, Doug. I think I have a deadline to make.
That's not being entirely forthright, is it, Jessica?
No, really, I must be getting along.
I thought you were after the real story, the truth. Well, we're never going to get to the truth if you keep avoiding it.
I'm not avoiding it. I just don't think it will serve any more purpose.
You're avoiding it.
Look, I think you know what I think. And I hope you're clairvoyant enough to read my mind and see that I'm on to this little trick you just pulled.
Little trick?
Whitney. Perfect timing. And a perfect little sob-sister story to suck everybody right back in.
I've never seen or heard of Whitney or Allison or anything to do with Whitney before tonight.
Oh, no? You didn't even skip a beat. You had her down flat. Pretty quick. Too quick.
I've found that young people are a little more open, a little less guarded. I can usually tune into them faster than other people.
Just like you can tune into somebody who's going to save your ass on stage?
Amanda, would you please escort Betty and Linda to our backstage waiting area? I don't think they need to hear any more of this. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Amanda, we'll have your autograph books for you. Thank you, Amanda. Now, Jessica, I just thought it best that if we continue this, that Betty and Linda especially, they've been through a lot tonight. It's an emotional time for them, and you saw how Whitney reacted.
Yes, I saw how she reacted. On cue.
I keep feeling there's something else, Jessica, some other reason why you're getting so emotional about this. Why, Jessica?
Why? Why, Doug? Because you're a fraud.
But you thought that coming in tonight, didn't you, Jessica? What else is it? There's more, isn't there?
No, despite what you think you know, there is
There's
no...
more. What is it, Jessica?
Oh, my God.
Jessica?
All right. You're right. There is more.
There is. What is it? You lost someone, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, I did. My sister.
Your sister? Oh, yes, I see. I see an illness, a hospital. Something inside. Something, was it?
Leukemia.
Yes, I see the blood. It's not good. It's not a good color. She didn't have long, after they diagnosed it, did she?
No. No.
I know. That made it hard, didn't it? Come, Jessica, come over here. Sit down.
I didn't have a sister who died.
What?
I didn't have a sister who died. Never had a sister. Just me and the boys, my brothers, and Mom and Pop, who are still both alive. But no sister.
Yes, but Jessica...
No sister. No sister and no leukemia. So, what do you think about that, Mr. Talk to the Dead?
Jessica, sometimes these things just...
Yeah, right. Anything else you'd like to say for publication? I didn't think so. See you around. Let's go, Edward.
Folks, we're gonna break this up now. It's been a hard night. And I don't want... I don't want... What I don't want is for all of you to become discouraged by this, to be set back in each of your searches for some kind of peace and understanding. Each person has a different way of coping and understanding their own problems. And I've never said that what I do, that what I see and understand is the only way. No, sir, you just forget them apples. Every one of us is different, and every one of us has our own way. You see, this peace and understanding and sometimes this sensitivity to my way just comes at different times for different people. Different times for different people. Hello again. Edward, I believe it was, right? You came with Jessica?
Right, Edward.
Where's your friend?
She's outside on her phone.
And you're just passing the time here?
No,
Is there somebody? Somebody you lost, Edward?
Well, yes, really. I really lost her.
Go on, Edward. Who was she?
The love of my life. I think, anyway. Doesn't everybody have some love of their life? The one you got away? Or the one you left behind?
You left someone behind?
Yes. A long time ago. I think I knew then, even when I left, that I shouldn't, but you're young, and you think there'll always be another chance at everything. But I never stopped thinking of her. She was never far from my mind.
Sometimes there is another chance, Edward.
You think so? I always thought I'd go back there someday or run into her someplace.
I know.
But just a couple of months ago, I heard... it was just a coincidence. I heard about it. I never talked to anybody back there, but I talked to somebody, just tracking down some old paperwork, and we got to talking about people there, and she told me that Donna had died in a car wreck. She was coming home late from somewhere. She must have fallen asleep. The car went off the road. She had never married or...
Feels like a hole inside, doesn't it, Edward? One of those black holes they talk about in space. It just goes on and on. No bottom to it, no end. Just a deep, deep hole that's as black as night. And there doesn't seem to be any way out of it, does there, Edward?
No.
No way to ever see the light again.
No.
You're feeling bad for Donna, aren't you? Sorry for her? You think that maybe, if things had gone different, if you had done something different, that maybe things wouldn't have turned out this way for her and for you.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe you're feeling a little more sorry for yourself than you are for Donna.
I don't know.
That's all right. When we realize that those we've lost, those who've passed, are still with us, then that brings a comfort and a kind of understanding. A realization that for all of your feelings of sadness and loss, guilt, that for all of that there is a chance for some reconciliation between you and those that have passed. That there is still a chance for communication, sure, but also still a chance to let each other know how you feel.
There's still time for that. That's what you're saying. That's what you're all about. I know. I didn't plan this. I didn't even know what you were really all about. I just came along with Jessica, and I don't really go in for all this, but...
But you still feel it. You feel the loss. And tell me, Edward, deep down, way deep down in that black hole, because you have to go through it, Edward. You have to go right down through that black hole and come out on the other side. Tell me, Edward. You can feel Donna. You can feel her close. You can feel her here.
Here? I don't...
She's right behind you. You know, Edward, she never stopped thinking about you either. Sometimes these loves of your life are just that, aren't they, Edward? The love of your life, your whole life. And if you feel something like that, there's a good chance it's really, really true. She understands your feelings because she lost you too, Edward. She lost you a long time ago. But she's feeling something different too, because see, Edward, she's seeing all this from a different point of view. She knows that she's here with you now, and that she'll always be with you. The love you had, you still have, is going to be with you and her for all time. And whenever you need the comfort and warmth of that love, you just reach out to her, Edward, because she'll be there. So stop feeling bad for her and for yourself. Because Donna didn't die, Edward. Because you don't die. You don't die. And when you know that, Edward, that's when you can finally live, really live. That's life after death, Edward.
Thank you.
That's going to conclude our time together tonight, folks. I want to thank you for being here with me and for sticking with me, for feeling with me. You know, this can't happen. I can't do what I do unless everybody's with me here. Working with me, feeling with me. Feeling the forever, that's what I call it sometimes. Feeling the forever that's in every one of us. Because there's a lot of forever in every one of us. You don't die. The loved ones you lost didn't die. They're still here with you right now. Do you feel them? Can't you remember the way they looked, the way they talked, the way they felt when they gave you a big hug? Well, you know why you can see and feel them so clearly? Because they're right here with you, with all of you, right now. Because you don't die. You don't die. And when you leave here tonight, don't leave that behind. Take that with you. You don't die. And when you get that right in your head, when you get that, you don't die. You won't die. Then you'll really, really be able to live. So long, folks. I'll see you down the long and dusty.
Wasn't that wonderful? Isn't Doug just something? And isn't his message just a wonderful message for all of us? Now, I want to give you one last reminder that Doug's books and tapes will be on sale at the back of the auditorium as you leave. I hope you'll pick one up on your way out. It's a great way to extend your time with Doug and to really get a deeper understanding of him and what he can teach us. And thank you so much for coming tonight. Goodbye. Are you all right?
Yes. Yes, thank you.
It's difficult at first, isn't it? The way he helps lift those feelings, those bad feelings of sorrow and guilt and whatever off our backs. You miss that at first. Those bad feelings become so familiar. But it'll get better. Trust me. You let those bad feelings go away, and it's going to get a lot better.
There you are. What are you doing back in here? Did you catch the end of the show?
Yeah.
So what happened? Did he levitate or something? Give coupons to everybody? Free long-distance calls to the dearly departed? Oh, Edward, I am so sorry I dragged you along to this.
That's all right.
Oh, what the hell. It was a hoot anyway, huh? Good story for the gang at the office.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I was getting ready to come here, and I thought maybe it'd be nice to have some company at this thing. Boy, was I right about that. But for some reason, I thought of you. Crazy, huh? I mean, if there's anybody more likely than me to laugh at this whole thing, it's you, right? Come on, I'll buy you a drink. And we'll drink around for all those who have passed on before us.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like a good idea.